Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Swartz, how long have you worked at the USPTO?
34 years.
34 years. And that's a long time. Your current pay grade, your GS-14, ballpark 150,000?
Yes.
Okay. It's my understanding that your particular area of expertise is as a patent examiner for chemical engineering patents. Is that correct?
Yes, but for full disclosure, as president of the union, I have worked for the union for several years without patent examining.
Okay, so how long have you been doing that?
This is not going to be accurate. I'm going to say approximately 8 years.
Approximately 8 years. So as an individual to be looking after chemical engineering patents, you've not been doing that for 8 years?
For approximately 8 years, yes.
Okay. So so you're on official time, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so official time means that you were hired to work with patents and chemical engineering patents, but instead of doing the job for which you were hired, you're doing union work. Is that correct?
I'm doing union work. That's correct.
Okay, but that's not what you were hired to do. You were hired as a chemical engineering patent examiner.
Yes.
Okay, so the American people are paying you to do something that you were not hired to do. Was anyone hired in your place to do the work that you're not doing?
I can't tell.
Mr. Slifer, is anyone hired, do you know?
I left private industry 2 years ago, so I can't speak to what happened 8 years ago.
Well, it's happening now. Has anyone been hired to do the job that Ms. Swartz was hired to do, but she's not doing?
I don't believe I can speak directly to that, but certainly we have.
Do you know how many people are doing official time who are hired to work at the patent office, but they're doing union work?
I do not, but would happy be.
Would it surprise you that there's 154 such individuals?
Again, I wasn't aware of how many.
It would seem to me that being entrusted with the good faith of the American taxpayer, that you would have an understanding of how many people have been hired to do a work that they're not doing. This just absolutely is astounding to me, Ms. Swartz, that you are hired to work with folks seeking a patent, but you're not doing that. So the American people are subsidizing union work and paying you $150,000 to do union activity rather than to do the work you were hired to do.
Congressman, a lot of the work I do is assisting the agency in implementing its
But that is not what you were hired to do. You were not hired to do union work.
I am assisting the agency in meeting its mission by assisting them in developing and implementing programs. For example, last year
alone— How many
alone,
clients have you worked with in the last 8 years?
I'm sorry, could you—
How many people who are seeking a chemical engineering patent have you worked with?
None in the last 8 years.
But that's what you were hired to do. So I'm really curious about your daily schedule. What do you do on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I deal with a number of different issues. Many of them are assisting the agency in developing and implementing programs to meet the mission of reducing pendency and increasing quality. Over the last year, my organization has reached many agreements to help the agency with its enhanced patent quality initiatives.
That's fine, Ms. Swartz, and I'm glad your agency is doing it. And I'm not attacking your union, nor am I attacking your union work. The problem I have is that you are using the time that the American taxpayer paid you to do as a patent examiner, and you're doing zero of that. You've done none of that in 8 years. And instead, you've been doing union work on the time that the taxpayer have asked you to be a patent examiner. You can do your union work, just not during this. I'm really curious about your daily schedule. I would like for you to provide this committee with a copy of your daily schedule, just your work hours, not interested in your personal time, but what you do from your clock-in official time for the last 6 months. Will you provide that for us?
I will try to provide that.
When can we expect to have that calendar?
I can probably provide this. I'm going to have to, I can probably provide this in a reasonable time, but I can't assure that everything on it, I have a calendar that I keep. I can't assure that everything on it's accurate, and it won't have hour by hour because there are hours that are open that I have not written down every activity during the.
But everything that you have written down, I would like to have submitted to this committee for the last 6 months.
I will do that.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Chairman, I yield.
I thank the gentleman, and we are going to go into our second round of questioning at this point, and so we will recognize the gentleman from